Well, I think you are you're leaning right. You are promoting Trump. You're not very clear, and I think you're one of the reasons why he's still here.
Okay. Anything else?
He needs to be locked up.
Okay,
he needs to be fucking locked up. He's a nutter.
Okay. Anything else you want to say?
Have you no response? You talk. You need a fucking. You know, I mean, you talk about.
Weren't you the guy who just called in and said be more dead inside?
Yeah, but come on, oh.
When it comes to Trump, you can't be more dead inside.
What?
When it comes to Trump, you can't be more dead inside.
Trump is fucking resurrecting the whole world, man.
Okay.
Look, Doug, you're promoting him as far as I can see.
What do you mean by promoting, and give an example?
Well, you said you were at a MAGA meeting. It's very kind of subtle. I'd say it's between Biden and Trump. You're going to vote Trump, yeah?
Yeah, that I did say. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is fucking nuts, as far as I can see. Have you any comeback from that?
No, I appreciate your opinion.
Well, that's a pussy response, man.
Well, you want me to fight with you?
No, I want you to fucking give me some sort of a reason why you would vote for a nutter like him. But we're in the Western world, right? You want to end up, you're going to vote for Trump, yeah?
If it's between Trump and Biden, yes. If it's not, then no. Depends.
But you seem to agree that Trump is dangerous.
No, I don't think he's that dangerous. Any president can potentially be dangerous, but I don't think he's that dangerous, no. But here's my challenge for you, John. Don't get emotional and ask short, simple questions. Go ahead. So let's practice. Ask me a short, simple question about Trump or whatever.
Yeah.
And whatever answer I give, do not get emotional, please. Try it.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, no more. That's fine. What I want to ask you is, can you not see like his business? Just look at his history. Would you not have question marks over just simple credibility as a dealing with people?
John, okay, try again, but really focus on asking me a short question. You notice what you did there? Can you not see, given the history, blah, blah, blah. So what I think you're trying to get at is, Doug, do you...
Do you trust Trump 100%? Do you trust him 100%?
No. Next question.
Okay. Why would you want to put somebody in charge of a whole country that you don't trust 100%?
Because I think that standard is way too high. I think nobody trusts any president of any background or political party 100%. They might go 90%, 80%, 100%. It's too high of a standard.
Okay. Yeah.
Next question. Just ask me questions, and don't get emotional.
Next question. Do you feel you're compromising? Do you feel you're compromising with voting for them?
Whenever you vote for a political party or a certain candidate, you, by definition, in my opinion, will compromise. There's very rarely will you find a candidate that you agree 100% on. So on the things you don't agree with, that is a compromise.
Well, what I think is you're an influencer. You're a YouTube influencer, and for me,
that is correct.
I got him. Yeah.
Huge influencer.
Well, yeah, you've 18,000 subscribers, I think, is it?
Yeah.
I know it's not very big, but...
And John, if I tell my subscribers to jump off a cliff, they will jump off a cliff for me. That's how big of an influencer I am.
Okay, maybe if you convince them God doesn't exist, they might have. But okay, Jesus, I don't know. I have a problem with you, but at the same time, I do see you are. Jesus, I can't put my finger on it with you.
The cognitive dissonance in your brain is just so high right now because I think, tell me if I'm going to ask you a question now. Do you respect some of the things I say on my channel with religion?
I do, yeah.
Yeah. Do you like me? Do you like me as a person generally when I'm talking about religion with other people? Do you like me?
Well, yeah, I suppose, yeah, you are a likable character maybe, but
do I make you laugh sometimes?
Huh?
Do I make you laugh sometimes?
Yes, yeah, 100%, definitely.
If Trump wins the next election, and I'm not saying he will, I actually think he will against Biden, against somebody else or not. If he does win, what do you think will happen? What bad things do you think will happen?
I would think it'll be really bad. See, the problem is for us, I'm living in Ireland. The problem for us is Merkel is such a big influencer in the world, in the Western world. He's going to probably get all these MAGA nutters that you are talking to on your TS Thursday. Their kind of crazy ideas upon the Bible are just going to more and more become relevant all over the world, or become not relevant because in this side of the world. I don't know if you have
I want to repeat back to what you said. I asked you, if Trump wins, what's the bad things going to happen? The first thing you said so far is Trump is going to, and his followers are going to make Christianity more relevant?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, let's explain. Why is that bad?
Because it's going to be a version of Christianity that is very militant. It's like,
what do you mean by militant? What do you mean by militant? Be very specific. What do you mean?
You're going to see like it happened in January 6th, 2020 when they arrived up on the Washington government buildings and they tried to take it over. That kind of stuff's going to happen.
Okay,
all over.
Okay, so you think if Trump wins, people will storm government buildings all around the world?
Yeah, I think so. It's going to get very aggressive. In France, we have have you heard of Le Pen in France? Yeah, Le Pen.
Yeah.
She is and you had Boris Johnson in England. They were all together. You have Nigel Farage in England.
Okay, but you think Trump's responsible for Penn and Farage and all these other people?
Well, it's the same energy. It's the same that crazy kind of super aggressive, domineering spirit, which is not good. I think overall it's not good.
Okay. And you think the super aggressive domineering spirit is going to lead Christians to storm capitals all around the world?
Yeah, and they will I mean, I've seen you as I understand you, Doug, right? Because I was a born again fundamentalist Christian, and actually, I'm not saying you were one of the reasons I deconverted, but I know your story, right? I understand it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that these guys, they're very dangerous. The fundamentalists, when they're getting Trump is.
Okay, let me ask you some specific questions, because I hear this fear all the time. I was in a Zoom group just recently with a bunch of friends, and they share some of your same fears, and it's baffling to me. Do you think that if Trump wins, Christians will start, I don't know, injuring or hurting or killing non-Christians on the streets?
Yeah, I'd say it could go that way again. It could go right back to what we've seen back in in the Dark Ages. Because anything, you see, you can do anything to justify this idea to promote God.
Okay, but
I remember when I was a Christian myself, I had no problem with lying to promote God. As an apologist, I
really, you lied to promote God?
Of course I did.
I didn't do that when I was a Christian.
No, but you know the scripture that scripture become as innocent as doves and as sly as serpents. You could justify anything as a Christian. You can see it.
No, I didn't believe that when I was a Christian at all. I didn't. I would never have said, and I still don't say today, that just because you believe something that justifies, let's say, killing someone or hurting someone or lying to them. Christianity is about telling the truth. Or hurt people,
but anything to get them saved. Actually kill them right now to just get them saved. That's how far I would have.
I was a pacifist. I would have never have said kill them to get them saved. I would say if it's in God's hands, God has an appointed time for them to die. In fact, that's scriptural.
Yeah, but in my mind, right, they were the enemy. I'm God behind me. I'm going to try and get them to persuade them to see the message.
Okay, I think I get it now. I get it now, John. You're scared if Trump wins that people will become as crappy of a Christian as you were.
Yeah, I think they already are.
You don't know any nice Christians?
Yes, there is some nice Christians, but they're still so compromised. They're just like they haven't.
What do you mean by compromised? What do you mean the Christians are compromised?
Inconsistencies in their arguments. Sure, just listen to.
Okay, fair enough. They have inconsistent arguments, but a lot of humans who are not Christian have inconsistent arguments as well. Some people say that about me. When it comes to politics, I have inconsistent arguments. So it happens to everyone. Christians are not immune, or other non-Christians are not immune. So I still don't get where this fear is coming from. Like, you made it sound like you believe that if Trump wins, Christianity will become more to the forefront, and Christians will actually start hurting non-Christians in the streets.
Well, hurting them for a start, right? Look what happened with Roe v. Wade, right? Or abortion you had abortion. Not that I'm a major advocate of abortion, because I do, but at the same time, I can just see civil liberties being constantly hacked at through these.
I agreed with that. I agreed with the Supreme Court overturning abortion that as a right. You know that the Supreme Court didn't make abortion illegal, right? You understand that? It's still legal in the states that are okay with it being legal. All they said is it's not a fundamental right. And I agree with that. It's not a right. Or it shouldn't be a right, I should say.
Okay.
I also think that universal health care is not a right in the United States. Well, it's a fact. Universal health care is not a right in the United States. People have arguments that it should be. People have arguments that it shouldn't be. So reasonable people can disagree. But I think the right should be as limited as possible. Responsibilities should be as high as possible. Personal responsibility.
What's his name? The thinking atheist. I like him as well. Seth. He's from Canada as well. I think you're Canadian, aren't you? Seth. And what's his surname? I can't remember. He's like, Christianity made me talk like an idiot. That's what he says. One of his statements.
Yeah, but again, you said you brought up trans before. Like one can make the argument human secularism makes Matt Dillahunty talk like an idiot, saying that men can menstruate.
Yes, possibly. Yeah, okay. But I think overall Christianity, for now, if you want to just like, you're a farm boy, I'm a farm boy as well. You want to hit the high notes, and Christianity is one of the biggest problems, or religion is one of the biggest issues we have. I know you have this amazingly powerful influencer, which is Trump. He is seriously a good influencer. I love Trump. Right, in 2015, I was voting for Trump in 2015. I was like a major fan of Trump, but not anymore. I've changed my mind on Trump.
What changed your mind? What changed your mind?
He's just gone too far. I can just see now what's going on.
Too far with what?
With especially what happened with the Washington when all those people were wild up there in Washington back in 2020. And
how much responsibility do you put on Trump for that? Let's say we've got 100%.
I would put about 90. 90? Probably not 100, but I would put about 70 or 80% on him.
Okay. For that. There was many people who listened to Trump that day on January 6th who did not enter the Capitol building. Is Trump responsible for them not entering?
No, but look, you can.
Well, wait a minute. Why do you say no? Trump. They went to the Trump rally. They listened to him speak by the big tall thing, and then they walked over to the Capitol. But they didn't go in. Was Trump responsible for them not going in?
He wasn't, but you can see how much of a loose cannon he was. He was.
John, you see the inconsistency. You just brought up Christians are inconsistent. If you're saying that Trump is 80% responsible for them going into the Capitol, and there was a lot of people there, and some of the people didn't go in the Capitol, then to be consistent, you would have to say Trump was also responsible for the ones who didn't go because they heard Trump say, "Go peacefully," and so they obeyed Trump, and they didn't riot, they didn't go in. Why don't you give Trump credit for that?
Because he's not. That's not his energy. You have to look at it. Look at his canvassing in 20. I can see what happened now, right? Do you see the way he annihilated everybody on the Republican Party back then? Chris Christie, who was for me would be a great president of America. I would be a Chris Christie fan, right? He'd be leaning a bit right.
I don't want to get off this personal responsibility part that I just brought up with you, because the fact of the matter is there are mega supporters who entered the Capitol and there's mega supporters who didn't. You have to put the majority of the responsibility on the individual.
Trump is behind them. Because of Trump, Trump is their god, right? He has put fire in their bellies.
Okay, John, I can show you another inconsistency. You just said Trump is their god, yet there's many of them who did not enter the Capitol. Do you believe Trump wanted them to and said to them to go into the Capitol?
He did. I believe 100%.
Okay, if he did, and if Trump is their god, then why didn't they obey their god? Because many of them didn't enter the Capitol. Why didn't they obey?
Because there was enough power on the other side. Tank, fuck or whatever, stopped them. And I hope America puts the bollocks in jail. I won't get too emotional. I hope he gets jailed.
Right, because if
he don't,
John, the reason why some of them didn't get in, you gave a good reason, because they were scared of possible consequences. But the bottom line is they thought about it and they each made their own choices. Like if Trump wins, make a claim what you think will happen, something very specific. that everybody, there's 200 people watching right now, that 200 people, at least the majority of the 200 people watching say, yeah, that actually happened, and no, that didn't happen? Like, for example, do you think...
Well, he's going to influence the rest of it.
Well, okay, that's too general. Like, every president influences other countries to a degree.
Okay, right. I'll keep it pretty general. So, right, just I'm not sure where you are in climate change, right? I'm not sure about it, right, to be honest with you, but he will probably slow down the climate change wheel a lot.
Oh, I won't bet against you that. I won't bet against you on that one. I agree with you there. Yep.
Okay.
But I'm okay with that.
You don't agree with the panic on climate change? I'm pretty okay. I'm pretty with you there as well. I'm not 100% sure because...
Yeah, okay, if you're with me there, you're with Trump there, because I think Trump would be all for things like nuclear energy. And he's definitely going to drill more, but production under Biden is at all-time high. Did you know that? Oil production under Biden's at all-time high. So much for fossil fuels coming to an end.
Well, he says he wants to completely get rid of fossil fuel.
Yeah, that's what he says. And Trump doesn't say that, so that's a reason to vote for Trump if you want to keep energy costs low.
Yeah, but you see, I don't think you can trust Trump. Like,
hey guys, in 30 minutes, John's going to be a Trump supporter. I'm working on him. Okay, but let me say this, because there's a lot of people on the left who have knee-jerk reactions and they like to cry. Trump is a narcissist. He's a goofball. He's probably maybe just slightly above average intelligence, but he is a great marketer. He's a great he resonator. Like, he resonates with the common folk, but he's not a man that I would want my son to model his life after. He probably has been very shady and very a huge amount of his business deals. But when it comes to immigration, energy policy, this whole wokeness business, I love it that Trump really makes people cry. I love it that he causes psychological damage in people, because he's basically saying, my job is not to baby you, to care for you, to make you feel good, to make you feel loved. No, that's not the job of the government. So if you feel unaccepted or whatever, that's a you problem. I like that about Trump.
Did you hear what I said about Trump? He doesn't care. He doesn't care. He has absolutely no left-leaning consciousness at all. It's like completely, he's so far right, it's dangerous. What
do you think he doesn't care about?
There's
probably a lot of things he doesn't care about, but can you name some things politically he doesn't care about?
Poor guys, or like, say, people on the streets who are like homeless or whatever. He just seems to have no social consciousness. You don't want people starving on the street.
Yeah, he's talked about that. Do you know what he has said about the homeless situation?
What?
He said that he said we need to get them the help they need. He said we need to get them off the street and put them in an area where they can get counseling, food, off drugs, and get them healed. But on the left, it seems like, I'm not going to straw man, but there are some people, it seems, that just want them to be on the streets and not to fix them. That no, they're people. No, you got to fix them. Homelessness is a problem, but the main cause of the problem is probably drugs. So you got to fix the addiction problem first. And Trump has addressed that.
Yeah, has he addressed? It might be political, just like, as you know, throwing a political whatever gesture, but I don't. No,
he's actually gone into specifics about actually having tent cities outside the city where there's actual doctors there to help them. But see, people on the left, they hear Trump say that, and this is what goes through their mind. Oh, he wants to round up the homeless people and put them in jail, basically, these tent city jails. That's what they hear. But the alternative is you keep them on the streets where they're defecating and dying and taking drugs on the streets. No.
Huh?
You're in Ireland, you said?
Yeah. Would
you be for, in Ireland, anybody just crossing the border into Ireland, no matter where they're from, like they just come across?
100%. I have no problem. We were a very small country, and especially if people.
See, this is where you and I would disagree. Like, I think that's bad. So, for example, would you be for Hamas people coming into Ireland?
Oh no, we shoot the bastards 100%. But
okay. In order to shoot them, the bastards, you would first have to identify them, right?
Yeah.
Okay, in order to identify them, you need to run background checks.
That's very easy.
Well, do they put Hamas stickers on their forehead? It's not that easy.
Come on.
What do? You just go based on their skin color?
No, you know, look,
If you're racist, you got to vote Trump,
this is
right?
the thing, right? Doug, come on. You know, like intelligence is a way. Humanity is like it can do. I mean, look at the CIA and the FBI, and look at the stuff they're doing, right? If you're trying to tell me that they don't know who these guys are, they could wipe them out. I don't know why they don't, like, because they have the intelligence to do it, but I don't know.
But when I asked you about would you want your border open, you said yes, but not to Hamas.
Yeah, but I mean, those guys will be wiped out very fast. You see, the truth, as far as I can see, there's one thing about when I was a Christian, I thought Jesus was the way, the truth, and the life, it was actually a filter. The real thing is the truth will always come to the top. It's nothing to do with Jesus. It's just truth and reality.
I know, but how do you get to the truth if you have a completely open border? How do you know who's coming in if you don't background check them?
That's the truth. It's being open, like what you said. You know, you've often said it there on your channel, talking to theists mainly. Like, you know, the theist is trying to control what life is with his little beliefs or whatever. But the fact is, none of us have any control. And the fact is, you just cannot. If you do try to control stuff, it's going to hit you in the face anyway. This is.
When you say try to control it, you mean like locking your car up when you leave it, locking your house up at night?
No, that happens. Yeah, of course, do all that stuff.
Okay, but should we lock up the border once in a while too?
Yeah, maybe sometimes.
There you go. I just converted you from open borders to at least locked up borders once in a while.
No, that's a bit of a smokescreen, right? But the big picture, as an atheist, as two atheists, we are talking about the big picture for humanity, right? Trump, yes, is fucking in our faces, and he is actually pushing us back as two atheists.
I wouldn't be surprised if Trump's an atheist.
He's not a fucking very good one. He's not a very honest one.
Well, that says something, right? If I'm right and Trump's an atheist, you can't say Christians are better than or worse than atheists. I have a strong. He might be a deist, but functionally, Trump's an atheist. Like when he's asked about Christianity, he doesn't have a clue. He doesn't know anything about Christianity. He's definitely not a Muslim. I mean, he's a secular guy. He's a capitalist who, I mean, he's a narcissist. He's selfish. He's not a Christian by any means. I think this is common knowledge.
No, he's not a Christian. I know that he's playing the Christians. This is my point. He's playing them. This is what I'm fucking concerned about, and they're taking it hook, line, and sinker.
Well, yeah, but hey, I can agree with you, but it still doesn't bother me that much because all politicians play to their base. Biden plays to the African Americans in the U.S. by saying Trump's a racist. I mean, like, Trump's going to round you up and lynch you, or they don't say that, go that far, but it's like the fear mongering. It happens on both sides. I think your biggest fear is, to maybe help you articulate it, is Christian nationalism. That's what you're really getting at. You don't want a theocracy. Yeah. You don't want Christian nationalists making policy, telling people what to do. I get that. But I would say that Trump's not going to be the guy who's going to round up atheists, put them in jail. Like, do you think he's going to do something like that? No, right? We don't even have to talk about it. He's not going to do that.
Well, he's definitely going to round up the guys that are trying to put him in jail at the moment, I reckon. He will round up.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, I don't disagree with you there. The guys who are, they should be scared if he wins. And what other issues? Like, will Trump make homosexuality illegal in the United States if he wins? I'll bet you big money that the Trump administration won't push for that, and they'll even fight against it. I'll bet money on that, too. The trans issue is a different issue, though. I think the trans issue, Trump could say things like, yeah, no trans people teaching in schools. He might say that, or he might say, yeah, no trans people in trans women in women's sports. We're going to make a federal law. I don't even know if that's possible, if you can make a federal law like that. But yeah, his perspective on trans issues is pretty much down the line evangelical Christian. But you know what? I don't disagree with it.
But Trump is still a dangerous character, right? It's trans.
Well, hang on. We've been talking for this for a while now, and I'm still trying to get out of you what is so dangerous about Trump. And the closest a loose cannon. Okay, what is going to happen? You've already said no. You don't think there's going to be death on the streets or people hurting each other.
Well, apparently, right? You have nuclear weapons over there, right? He has the fucking...
Yeah, a lot. We get a lot of nuclear weapons. You listening to us?
He's got nukes. He's got nukes. What if he decides to fucking bomb Putin, right?
There you go. There's a specific, well, you didn't make a claim, but I will bet you $1,000 that if Trump wins presidency, he will not use a nuclear bomb on any country. You want to take that bet?
No.
No, because you know the probability of a nuclear war in the next 4 years, 5 years is very, 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 very low. What's nonsense?
Have you seen the footage? Have you seen the footage of
50 hours
the energy? Huh?
50 hours worth I watched.
And how many people were there?
Thousands.
Yeah.
Thousands.
And can you not see the energy on their faces? And they're ready to fight. They were warmed up. They're ready to go.
Did any of them have guns?
How do we know? We cannot prove. It's a bit like trying to prove.
Were any guns fired by the protesters?
You cannot prove that.
Were any guns fired by the protesters?
Look at Texan people, right? For example, right? If you're from Texas, you can carry, can't you?
Were any guns fired by the protesters?
Sorry?
Were any guns fired by the protesters?
I don't know. How can they prove that?
How? Because we got video. You can hear it.
We have video. Is the video going to see everything?
No.
We don't know. I would have a safe bet. If I know humanity, I would say 50% of those people at least had some sort of a handgun. At least, because they were going there for fight. And if not, depending on what part of America you're from, I know. Would
you say that riot was successful?
Not for the rioters, no. Thank God.
Okay.
Thank whatever.
If it were okay, very good. If it were successful, what would it have looked like?
I think America would be a completely different place now.
What would have happened on January 6th if it would have been successful?
Mike Pence would probably be dead.
Really? You really believe that
Nancy Pelosi would probably be dead?
Okay, nobody knows this for sure, but you really believe that MAGA people would have gone in and actually hung, like the meme says?
I'd say they would have killed Pelosi. She would be strung up.
Yeah,
she would have been strung up. If they got hands on Nancy Pelosi at the time, she would be hanging out on the rafters.
But I'll play along. Let's say that would have happened. They would have killed Pelosi and killed Pence. Then what? That would be horrible. Yes, that'd be bad. But as far as the democratic nation, what would have happened?
Democracy would be seriously compromised because the really strong influence.
How?
Because the groundswell would be with all these MAGA Christians in America, and you would have completely...
Oh, you think it would have just gotten more death?
It would have been very strong. I can see it could still happen. Like if Trump gets in now, my prediction, I'm not going to bet you any money, right? But my prediction is that same type of aggressive, forceful, no negotiation kind of energy is going to take... Like we have this open conversation now, but I reckon we mightn't be able to have this conversation in 3 or 4 years if Trump comes in. You know what I mean?
Oh, there's a good claim that there'd be no free speech left.
There won't be as much, I don't think. Because look at already, your last video.
I'll bet you $1,000 on that.
On that news channel MSNBC where they banned Trump. They weren't going to... Remember that video you put out recently?
Yeah.
Well, that's the start of it. That's going to happen. That's what's going to happen.
MSNBC is a left-wing channel, John. They're the ones
censoring. Yes, we know that.
We
know that, but that's exactly what's going to happen. They're going to have this kind of propaganda machine taking over America. Mm-hmm. That's going to happen on both sides.
But most people, the reason why they don't like Trump and January 6th is because they think it hurts the democracy, that we'll lose the democracy. And so when I asked you, if the riot would have been successful, what would have happened? This is a question that a lot of people on the left find difficult to answer, because even if you can imagine Pence would have been executed, and even if you can imagine Pelosi would have been executed, and even if they had guns and were firing them around and killing police officers left and right, I mean, like a full-on coup military style, I would propose that a month later, Biden would still be president. In fact, what actually happened was that none of the Congress people died, none of the police officers died that day, and the vote was just postponed by 10 to 14 hours. That's it.
That's a very it's a very hit and miss opinion. I wouldn't put my life on it. I know what you're saying. I wouldn't back my life savings on what you're saying to be what's going to happen. Like, I'm trying to look at where this is going, right? Where we're heading for now as nations in this world.
Okay.
I don't like it.
Can you see that?
I don't like it. What?
Can you see that picture? Put your glasses on.
I see it, sir.
Okay. So this, you mentioned, Doug, have you watched the video footage? I mean, it was a riot. It was terrible. And John, hear me clearly. Yes, there was a lot of bad stuff that happened today. But there's also video like this. You see the people just walking? Now look to your left, look to your right. There's military people there. A lot of, not military, policemen. Well, yeah, and military. These are our National Guard, it looks like. Standing there, watching them walk through. These guys are armed. It looks like these guys are not. They're just walking through. Now, have you seen that footage of them walking through the Capitol? Have you seen that?
I probably have, but there's also theories that even, there's a lot of different theories on it. You know what I mean?
I know
the whole thing.
But here's my point with showing this. Like you can have video to show whatever you want to promote. I get that. But my point here is that if let's say what happened on January 6th, it would be equivalent to murder, which it isn't. But let's say it were. If these were all murderers walking down the Capitol hallway, the police people, the CIA, the FBI, the military guard, they would not just stand there and watch it. They would push them on the ground and cuff them immediately. Didn't happen. If it was, let's say, a burglary where, let's say, someone breaks the window of a store and goes in and steals jewelry, and there was guards there, they wouldn't stand and just let them walk. They would put them on the ground and cuff them and bring them to jail. Why didn't they cuff those people, put them face to the ground? The argument is because they felt they were overwhelmed. That if they tried something like that.
Right.
Well, no, but the thing is, they got guns. And sure, I get your argument that some of the protesters had guns, but they had to go through metal detectors and stuff. Once they were in the Capitol, those things still worked. I mean, sure, they could have had guns, but as far as we know, not one shot was fired from the MAGA people. They were not like the ones who just walked through the Capitol were not, and even the ones into the Congress, they weren't immediately arrested. In fact, there's some fist bumps and high fives. Then later, they get arrested.
Okay, Doug, here's a question for you. So, right? Question for you now. What if all your military and your authorities are more Trump leaning to the right, and they're just going to that's what I think is actually happening in America. That the whole system is leaning more and more to the right.
Okay.
And you're not going to have this voice that you have.
Not going to have what?
This freedom of speech that we have now, this beautiful freedom of speech, which came from America, because America broke away from where I'm living and started their own country.
Okay, so your fear is that the more right a country gets, the less free speech there is?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Because I see it here in my own country. This country is very far right. It's starting to, okay, we're actually a little bit different, but I grew up in a very far right, very religious environment all my life. And I can see how it's so stifling, you know what I mean? And that's why I'm actually so
I would say that
America.
I would say Trump he's a narcissist, right? And so he doesn't like free speech used against him. But I would say the Republican administration, at least, would be more pro-free speech than the left. And here's why I say this. There's going to be a lot of people on the left screaming against me. But I say this for many reasons. Number one is before Elon Musk bought Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, other social media platforms, the top guys who run that place tend to lean left. They're the ones who look at material and say, the public can't handle this. I mean, just you watched the video I made about MSNBC saying, we're not going to even play the victory speech of Trump in Iowa because Trump's a liar.
That was a lie.
And we need to protect you guys from liars because we are a news organization who only wants to promote the truth. And so it's this coddling that you can't handle it. This is coming from the left, not from the right. And even the stuff like critical theory, critical race theory.
This is the problem with you. You're mocking the left too much, Doug, as far as I can say. You're mocking.
Mocking?
You need to.
Was I mocking right now?
You need to get a bit more left. You are gone too far right, as far as I can see.
What have
as an atheist?
Well, okay, maybe I do mock the left. Yeah, I do. But so what?
Yeah, but I think the left is keeping a balance. Do you want? But gee, what I can see anyway, this is going a bad road with this Trump character, and it's coming down very fast.
I think I actually hope Trump wins because there's so many bets I've made. I can make a lot of money. That's
your ego. That's your ego.
I could lose a lot of money, but I hope Trump wins because I just want to say in 5 years I told you so. All these fears of the world coming to an end, nuclear war, democracy is going to cease, freedom of speech is going to cease. I mean, it's going to be fun. Oh, the Trump's never going to leave power. He's going to become a dictator. All these predictions. I'm just going to, in 5 years, I told you so. You idiots. You let the media get this fear in you. Trump's this horrible, rotten person. He's going to take over the world and cause all these problems in the world. You're getting sucked in. Whenever someone uses fear as a tactic to get you to vote a certain way, this is a red flag that something's not right.
He's using the fear masters of the world to get him in.
Yeah, I agree with you. It works both ways. Yes, fair point. They're saying if you don't vote for Republican, before you know it, the whole world's going to be trans. I get that too. I mean, they use it too. They use it with the trans issue. They use it with like the drag queens. And I've said many times before, like it's overblown. It's really the trans. This is going to offend the trans people, but the trans people in the scheme of American politics really don't matter. And drag queens, of course, don't matter. And now they're all going to start crying that I said that. But yeah, in the big scope of things, those things don't matter. To me, what matters is, free speech, immigration. Those are the top two. I'm still a lower tax versus higher tax guy. I'm personal responsibility.
Less government, yeah. I'm not 100% no, but I would say there'll be serious changes in Israel if Trump gets in. That'll be a fairly safe bet, but I'm not going to bet you because I know I could lose it. But
Trump has a record. Trump has a record of being less of a warmonger than other presidents, right?
Yeah, but look what he done. He switched the embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. Sure. Nobody, every president in America was promising that for years to evangelicals, and he went and done it.
But Trump is against what's happening in the Ukraine right now. Trump was against the Iraq War, I believe. Trump.
Yeah, he's going to try to please his base, right? His base wants a serious. They have dreams about Israel, and I reckon he's going to do some serious.
Here's another argument, John, for Trump. The world perceives Trump as nuts and crazy, right?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you want someone who's perceived as nuts and crazy with a finger in a nuclear bomb? Wouldn't you want that perception if you live in the United States? Like, can you imagine if a country, you want a nut guy who's perceived that way as nuts? I'm not saying Trump is going to cause a nuclear war, but I'm saying I absolutely love that Europe, Russia, whatever, is scared of Trump. That is a plus for the United States, militarily.
You have a point, but it's a very fragile point as well at the same time. Because it's
30 minutes, I converted this guy who was emotional against Trump. Now he's starting to see the benefits of Trump.
Well, no, you have a point, but it's still it's built on, as Jesus said, your house is built on sand.
Yeah, you're just scared that the United States is going to turn more into the Christian that you were and that you hate. That's your biggest beef with Trump.
Because I've been there, done that, bought the T-shirt.